welcome into our CJ Baxter episode. And we're saying that because this is episode 4 of season 4. ZT and I welcome in you, Wendy and y'all, for tuning into the show and giving us a listen right before Texas plays the Austin P All Star team. As you all may know, this is week 3 of college football, and Zach, it pains me to say that we are 25% of the way through the season. If you look at it after Saturday, 3 games already down on the schedule and of the regular season, and yeah, just once again, it feels like the season is just going by too quick. So yeah, in this episode, we'll be recapping the San Jose State game, which was a brutal watch at times, but Texas did come away with the victory. We'll be previewing the UTEP game with some special words from Ben Lopez, who's been on the podcast before. So we'll hear some of his takes as well as his score predictions and some of his week 3 picks, which we'll be talking about towards the end. And then, like usual fashion, Zach and I will be giving our score predictions, our players of the game, both on the offensive and defensive side. After that, we'll be going over our 40 acres in 40 seconds, where Zach tries to give all news on the 40 acres in under 40 seconds. So stay tuned for that. We got the baseball schedule finally releasing, Zach, for the SEC. Pretty exciting matchups we got going on. We'll dive into that later. And then we'll get into our week 3 picks against the spread, where Zach is currently 6-0, and I am riding at a solid 3-3 record. So yeah, if you've been tailing us so far, you've been profitable. And if you've been parlaying, Zach, you've been even more profitable. So yeah, some good bets to tail. But Zach, how's your week been? Like I said, 25% of the way there.
Yep.
Q1 is about to wrap up this this Saturday. Kind of sucks, but yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, AJ. Well, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. AJ, I hope you've been having a great week. As you said, AJ, on Sunday I woke up and was a little disappointed in myself for not going to the tailgate on Saturday. I felt like I missed a lot simply because of what you said. Of it already feels like time is running short on this season.
Yeah,
It's funny to
yeah,
say that we're only in week 3. We haven't even kicked off conference play, but considering that in October Texas doesn't even have a home game, yeah, it feels like 1 week is missing a lot. But we're gonna make up for it this weekend, AJ. All of the 514 boys are expected to be back in Austin, so we're setting up for a good weekend.
yeah. 514 boys and many more. Yeah, we got a pretty jam-packed weekend in Austin. And for those of you that don't know, obviously Zach and I, our hometown is in El Paso, Texas. So seeing Texas play against UTEP is pretty special to us. So of course we have to be there for the game. Victoria, my fiance, UTEP alumni, she's been giving me shit all week. So
Yeah,
it's time to unleash all the shit talking, I guess, and see if
yeah,
it
I've
pays
been
off for
getting
her.
the same, AJ.
Yeah,
That's why I was so excited to getting on this podcast because I was telling you a little bit a while ago, but I've been hearing the same thing. Sarah, also an alumni
yeah,
from UTEP, just not really talking shit, but more of the, well, what happens if it's close? And imagine if Texas is kind of like about to pull it off. And yeah, kind of tired of hearing it. So I'm just
yeah.
excited to jump on this podcast to tell everybody why exactly that is not going to happen.
Yeah, time to air everything out and
Yep.
yeah, just kind of put all the rumors to rest here. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. First game at DKR for us this season, Zach.
Yep.
Big Boy will be performing at Longhorn City Limits. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. Yep.
Um, yeah, and what else? We got the Canelo and Crawford fight Saturday.
And
Um,
UFC's also Noche de UFC in San Antonio, so missing that
yeah,
unfortunately, but rather be at UTEP.
yeah. That and oh yeah, the NFL's back, Zach. That's been that's been awesome so far.
NFL
We'll get
season
in a
has
little
gotten
bit.
off to a good start. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get a little bit into that as well. I forgot to mention, but yeah, we had some notable Longhorns in the NFL. But Zach, let's get into the San Jose State recap.
yeah,
Yeah, Texas comes away with a 38-7 victory over San Jose State. Zach, I'll let you take it away with the rest of the stats for the game.
Yeah, we'll break it down afterwards, but just to give you guys a little recap on the stats, we had Arch Manning, of course, leading the way of our offense in the passing department, going 19 for 30 with 295 yards. He did have 4 touchdowns on the day. The one down spot amongst other incompletions was a 1 red zone interception, and then he also had 4 carries for 23 yards. And 1 touchdown. That run was pretty spectacular, EJ. And we'll talk about that. CJ Baxter was our leading rusher, 13 carries, 64 yards. As a reminder, Trey Wisner did not play in this game, so CJ Baxter did handle the bulk of carries early in the game. And then leading the way in the receiving department, we had Livingston and Endries both catching 2 touchdowns each. This was the classic meme, AJ. Exciting whites is what we were seeing on Saturday. And then defensively, we had 3 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups. And then we had Jalen Gilbo with an interception. And then we had fumble recoveries from Moore, McDonald, and Smith. Jared Gibson also did fumble on our offensive end. So that is something worth noting in terms of our second. Was that a turnover, AJ? It was, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So that was our second turnover on the day. That came from Jared Gibson. So unfortunate that we still haven't figured out that fumbling issue that we saw last week on his behalf, or last year on his behalf. And then, as I said, Wisner was hurt. One surprising call out here, AJ, the quarterback that stepped in for Arch to relieve him of his duties in the fourth quarter was actually Matthew Caldwell. So it was a little surprise to some. I did also see others in the Twitter or X space mentioning that was expected. So that was something at least surprising for me. And then, that pretty much sums up our San Jose State's recap. You want to get down to a little bit of breakdown, AJ?
Yeah, let's get on this layer by layer, Zach. Obviously, the performance we want to talk about the most, in my opinion, is Arch's performance.
Yep.
Because, like we mentioned on the last episode, we wanted to see less of the worse and more of the goods, more of the greats, actually. In this game, like we mentioned, it's expected for a defense to come away with stops, with turnovers, and of course with our offense to score lots of touchdowns. But I think seeing the floor of Texas in this game is also very important. And Zach, I mean, it's still very low. Arch Manning once again struggling with his accuracy. The offense not really playing in sync. Mental penalties, in my opinion. And let's just dive right into it. So yeah, Texas starts off with a nice end around to DeAndre Moore, which would have been for a huge game. And yeah, just start off everything on a good note. But of course, that gets called back for a holding penalty. So again, just a mental mistake right off the bat, and that's not something you want to see. Also, within that opening drive, Arch launches the deep ball. Mechanics look okay. Everything looks fine, except he overthrows the receiver. And was it Wingo? I'm trying to remember who it was.
I do believe it was Wingo, AJ.
Yeah, that's how bad the throw was. San Jose State's defender was more in lead of the ball than Texas's own player. So yeah, it doesn't seem like the accuracy issue has been fixed. And Zach, I'll be honest with you. This really worries me. You kind of expect to see it again against Ohio State, but in games like this, I want those kinks worked out. I don't know if I'm being a little over dramatic here. We spoke about it in our group chat, but I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, AJ. It was a subpar game, and I think what is also worth noting, and we could probably mention it a little bit later as well, is that Arch himself wasn't happy with this performance, and he said it right away in post game. It wasn't something like he dwelled on it or heard critics and then was critical of himself. Immediately in his post game interview, was very critical of himself, saying it was a poor game, saying that it was very sloppy, saying that he needs to be better. Pretty much echoing that the standard is the standard, and even though they won by a wide margin, it wasn't up to the standard. And that's exactly what AJ was highlighting there for you all. Is there was a lot of mistakes still. Good things were shown, like the rush into the end zone was great. Did have a couple throws on the move, hitting the seams. There was a couple times, but yeah, for the most part, just missing crucial or wide open passes, as you said, AJ, where it seems like we're missing the deep ball still. And it's something that I feel like is Arch's strength. And I think that's something that everybody was expecting would be an element to the Texas offense this year compared to what it's been in the past, because Quinn notoriously struggled with the deep ball other than like that Alabama game. So everybody felt like it was going to be an improvement with Arch. The 3 games that we saw him last year, it was an improvement, especially that Mississippi State game. He had a couple of big throws. The UTSA game, he had a couple of big throws, and they were on the money, and we just haven't seen that this year. And as you said, have been overthrows. I'm not sure if they're just haven't been on the same page. But yeah, it's been sloppy at times. And there's been some rumors that there's still injury. Sark has shut that down, but people are seeing like grimaces on his face, that shoulder jerk that he's been doing to rearrange his pads. People are saying that that's been going on since last season. So still a lot of unknowns, and that's exactly what we did not want, is unknowns. We wanted something more clean. We wanted something more concrete to look forward to, as this is exactly what we should be looking forward to. And we still did not see that. We saw it again in spurts, and we just need a complete game. And through 2 games, we have not gotten that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I get it, making bad reads at times, maybe holding on to the ball a little bit longer than expected, Zach. But one thing that really discourages me, and I'm not 100% out on Arch, but um, yeah, actually, I mean, I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm gonna temper my expectations this season, and I might be all out on us winning a national championship with Arch. Just because it's like I said, I get bad passes or bad reads, holding on to the ball a little bit longer, taking unnecessary sacks. That's fine. First year starting in the system, but it's just the inaccuracy and you know hitting those mud balls where you're just throwing straight into the ground. Obviously,
Yeah.
we saw the highlight of him grimacing, and just him regressing is just really concerning, and shows that maybe he just still has a little more time to bake in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's just I think I've begun to temper my expectations, Zach, with how this season goes. But yeah, I mean, we can still give him time and all that,
Yep.
but I think it's just best for us to take a step back, in my opinion.
And I mean, it's right for you to have that opinion. There, it hasn't been the best, especially on the offensive end, to give us that expectation anymore. I understand
Mhm.
you tempering them. I'm still within the realm that we are 7. We are one of the 7 schools that can compete for a national championship still. Um,
Yeah.
with that being said, there is definitely room for a lot of improvement, as you were saying. I definitely think Arch is nowhere near his ceiling, and we probably won't get his ceiling this year. But even with that being said, I do think we have the defense to get us to the national championship, even though Arch isn't at his ceiling. I do think that we have the defense to have a game manager, essentially, not Superman at quarterback. I think we can win with a game manager, and that's what I think I need to see out of Arch at this point in time. It is clear that he is not going to put the team on his back and run for 50 to 100 yards per game and have 4 touchdowns against the elite defenses of the world. That is very clear. But what I would hope is to cut down on those, as you said, bad reads and mistakes. Those interceptions cannot happen. If we're talking about needing a
Yeah.
game manager, it needs to be a clean ball game. We need to take advantage of the opportunities when they're there, score 3 or 4 times a game, but we cannot be turning over the ball. And that interception, EJ, was very reminiscent of last year, where he just seems like he always wants the home run ball and is
Mhm.
not aware of what coverage the defense is in. And it was a very easy interception, to be completely honest with you. And that's the discouraging part for me, is that if that's going to be the case, I'm also with you, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time and say that we're still one of the 7 teams that can win a national championship this year. I just need Arch to be a little bit more of a game manager in that aspect.
But like at the same, I don't even think I don't know. I just feel like this offense is struggling enough to where I don't think Arch can be a game manager. Because game manager, I mean, you just have to be accurate, have to do the correct reads. He's
Mm-hmm.
doing none of those right now, and that's what really like if he was just Jimmy Garoppolo at the
Yeah.
minimum, like I don't even think he's there yet. And then this is like very reminiscent of last year or the past few years of Clemson, how they had a good defense, their offense wasn't playing complementary football, and that was because of the um I guess how should I say it, the inefficiencies they had at quarterback. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's just very reminiscent of that. I mean the bright flashes have been there for Arch. So I mean that's the encouraging thing, but on a consistent basis, that's what really worries me.
Yeah, and the reason I say that I think the game management is still there is because I do think it's something that Sark can help scheme up to make it safer. And then I'm gonna go back to something that we talked about at the beginning of the season, EJ. Even if the passing game wasn't there, because there was questions about our receiving room, to be quite honest, coming into the year, that's where we thought there was
Mhm.
struggles gonna be, not necessarily on the Arch behalf, but more on who's gonna be catching the ball for him. Is that we
Yeah.
said with this running back room, we should be able to run it down anybody's throat. And to be quite honest with you, if we're talking about the other best defense in the nation aside of ourselves, it is Ohio State. And we were being very effective running the ball. And that was hardly without using Arch's legs. So I do think that offense, that part of the offense is still to develop, is using just the running game to open up play action and using Arch's legs to get him some easier, to move the pocket, get him some easier looks down the field. I think those are aspects that we have not yet seen, and rightfully so. I wish we would have seen him against Ohio State, going back to the point we made last episode, but we didn't see it this past week, and I don't think we see it this week. I don't think we see it until the SEC play, to be completely honest with you. That's the element that I'm waiting for, and that's the element that's still giving me hope, is that we still have the best defense in the nation, and that we still have a running game that we just haven't fully unlocked for everybody to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels like we are Penn State right now. This is what Penn State has been going through the
Yeah.
past few years, and I don't know if it's different for them this year, but yeah, it's just been just feels brutal, and maybe I might be too critical of Arch, but yeah. Also, one thing to mention, obviously we've all seen the video of Arch grimacing after the throw. That's been shut down. Um, I think Sark's answer to that in the press conference, Zach, was a little sus.
It
He,
was
he got defensive about that, and I was like, all right, I don't know why you're getting defensive about this. Like
yeah, it wasn't the best of metaphors.
this is a terrible metaphor.
Yeah.
Like, is he implying that's what Arch looks like while he shits?
Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me, to be completely honest with you. um I was confused, and it kind of led me to, like, are you saying that Arch shit himself on the field? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Or yeah, like, it was definitely a weird metaphor, and it definitely, when you're talking about being worried, AJ, that worried me. Exactly what you're saying is that we hardly ever see Sark rattled. He kind of just brushes things
yeah,
off. Is a very calm, cool, collected guy in interviews. And I think that was the first time that we just saw the reporters get under his skin. So that was a little concerning.
yeah. I don't know why he got so defensive. And like if Arch is hurt, just say something, dude. Like we're just left here wondering that it's the yips or whatever. But yeah, I don't. I'm not in full agreement with that answer.
Yeah, and I mean, after what we've seen these past 2 years, AJ, or 3 years now, it wouldn't be Texas football if our quarterback has an unlisted injury.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if for the past two seasons, at the end of the season, we heard that Arch played with, what was it, a sprained ankle, and then last year the oblique that was still injured in the playoff. Like, as you said, and I mentioned that in our text messages on Saturdays, if he's hurt, I'd rather hear it rather than having to worry if that there's really a case of yips. I'd rather just downplay it, say maybe he rests a week, and then we bring him back fully healthy, and we don't have to worry about these types of things again, because these are not things that we were seeing last year, and that's what's concerning to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually another side note, Zach. Do we think Arch has the yips?
I I don't think so. I do think that, and I know we're on differing sides of this, AJ, is that we need to give more credit to what was faced in Ohio State. This is the defending national champion. This is the number one team overall in the nation right now. And at the end of the day, when people are saying that he played poor, he still outpassed Julian Sayin. He still was right there at the end of the game, despite a bad throw on his behalf, but right there at the end of the game to either tie it or to win the ball game. Again, on the road for his first road start against the defending national champions. I just find it that it was a difficult week one. We saw glimpses of it. They said it on the broadcast as well? It just seemed like he was taking a deep breath after scoring that first touchdown against San Jose State. So I do think opening up San Jose State, there was that monkey on his back. There was a case of the yips. It did seem like he took a deep breath, and I hope we see him play a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more calm, and a little bit more in rhythm the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think something's definitely wrong. I don't know if it's the yips or the injury, the undisclosed injury, but yeah, it's like yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day, and like last season when Arch, he was scoring touchdowns, he was doing his thing. There's a lot of celebrating. He had like a chip on his shoulder. I mean,
Yeah.
we've all seen the memes. We're not seeing that this year, and I know that might be a little bit too over exaggerated or I guess something I'm looking over too much. But I mean, he's not playing with that swag that he had last year.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I
can
don't
agree
know.
with you on that one.
I don't know. It's just something I know. Like he's not himself. And like after that rushing touchdown, this past Saturday, I thought maybe see a little bit of that cool celebration, but he was just like cool with it. And I don't know. It's just an
Not some,
observation worth mentioning.
not something that we need to get into right now, AJ. I know we've been on this topic a little bit, but something
Yeah.
that I want to maybe take into the future episodes if it doesn't change this week. Do we also think that this may be a case, and this is just something that's crept in my mind, is Sark imposing the offense, Sark imposing like the style that he wants to play or the style that he wants Arch to play, wants him to stay in the pocket longer rather than rolling out? Is it something that he is maybe just not in his comfort zone? Again, just because I find it odd that these yips, this injury, whatever it is that's going on in this early part of the season, wasn't a thing last year. Like he was
Mhm.
exciting, as you said. He did have a chip on his shoulder. He just played free, he played loose, and that's why people were calling for him to come out in Georgia when it seemed like everybody was on edge. We thought he was going to be the cooling factor, even if that was like
Mhm.
his first big start or to jump into the game mid game. We just thought
Yeah.
that he was going to be that calming presence. This year, I wouldn't say the same. Do you think they're like, again, something to keep observing, but do you think there's something to that maybe?
Yeah. You know what? I've always taken Sark as a play caller that's more pocket passer friendly. He doesn't really, I guess, work through offenses that have mobile quarterbacks. So I mean, keeping Arch from rushing could probably be the cause of that, and maybe he just doesn't want him to get hurt. Which could be why he got so offended because maybe Arch did get hurt on like a structured run play. But yeah, that's actually a good theory. I can kind of see that happening. I'm seeing that be the
Yeah.
reason why.
Just something that's crept into my mind and that I definitely want to keep an eye on and maybe start listening to the interviews after the games a little more closely to see if something starts getting revealed. Because yeah, there is something, AJ. That's something that we can
Yeah,
all agree on. There is something this year. I just don't know. We don't know what it is at this point in time.
yeah, no, I know. I feel like I've gone into full like I don't know, like a philosopher mode with this team. I'm like, I just don't know like what's wrong, and it's frustrating me, and
Yeah.
I've just had to point the finger at Arch because he's the quarterback, which sucks. Um, but yeah, I mean, walked away with the W, Zach. That's all that really matters. I guess we've seen some surprising things in this game. Matthew Caldwell, quarterback two. We weren't expecting
Yep.
that. Trey Owens probably going to hit the transfer portal now. Let me see what else. Oh, Trey Wisner unexpectedly hurt. Heading into this game, we saw some more of Christian Clark, Jared Gibson, and you did
Hmm.
mention the Jared Gibson fumble. Not a good sign. Jared Gibson still looks the same. Christian Clark, kind of, uh, kind of inspired a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he
Mm.
had some good runs. I do want to cut down on the side to side running, and I saw that out of Jared
Yeah,
Gibson as well. I just need a little bit more downhill. But yeah, at the end of the day, he seemed like a patient runner, but sometimes just a little too patient.
yeah, yeah. I think he'll fit in good as RB3, and yeah, I think just gonna say it here. Said it last year with Johnson Cook, but or was it 2 years ago? I don't even remember at this point. But expect a Jared Gibson transfer portal announcement soon
Yeah,
after the season.
that
Right?
is definitely one I could see,
Yeah.
especially with the recruit that we have coming in. So
Yeah. Exactly. All right, Zach. Anything else we want to cover on San Jose State recap? Did not cover over. Did not hit. by the way.
Over did not hit. AJ, I do want to talk a little bit about the defense. Again, I think this defense isn't going
Yeah.
to be great, but this is the downside of playing teams like San Jose State, playing teams like UTEP. When we talk about it on the podcast, it's not because we're just being overly critical. It is something that I find very important. We need to stay disciplined. We need to stay true to ourselves. I did find that the defense was being overly aggressive, and the reason I gave this game a D overall was because I do think the defense could have been exposed a lot more than what they were. At
Mhm.
least 4 times a wide receiver was left open on the back end, and it was either an overthrow or a drop pass. That
Mhm.
at the end of the day, our defensive stats looked really good, but when you saw that, it didn't look great. Colin Simmons also just being, I mean, a thorn to his own side, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And
Like
Sark
what's
talked about that. So yeah, it still needs to be better. It still needs to be cleaner, and that's again what we're going to be looking forward. And we'll talk about right now here with UTEP. But it wasn't the best of performances on the defensive end, in my opinion. Even though the stats don't show that, and it obviously shows a better game than what it was, there was a lot of opportunities for San Jose State that I wish weren't there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think one play to mention is that was it a roughing the passer on a third down, or was it roughing the kicker?
There was a roughing the punter.
Roughing the
Yeah, there
punter.
was a
There we
roughing the
go.
punter. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
or
yeah.
roughing the
It's
kicker.
yeah, mental mistakes like that, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember what else, but yeah, I do remember seeing some dropped passes from some receivers that obviously Power Five teams routinely make.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just it's getting breaks like that that do discourage me for the defense as well. But yeah, I agree to your point, ZT. Yeah,
But yeah,
we got
other than that,
we
I
got
think
3 turnovers at
that's
least.
pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, didn't they aggressive paid off, right? And we were impressive punching out the ball. Worth noting, Anthony Hill just threw an absolute knockout punch. I don't think I've ever seen somebody get knocked out from a fist to the helmet, but I think
Yeah.
the offensive player was knocked out at one point in time
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
that play.
Yeah, that's
So
why he
pretty
dropped the
impressive
ball though.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a textbook NFL tackle, and yeah, that was nice. I like that one a lot.
But yeah, I think that does pretty much wrap up
Yeah.
San Jose State. Wasn't the best of, or I guess I gave out
Mm.
my letter grade, AJ. I do give it a D. Like I think that is
Mm.
critical of me, but I do think it's deserved. We didn't
Yeah.
cover. It wasn't the best on either end, even on special teams. So that's my grade. Let's hear yours before we jump over to UTEP.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Thank you for bringing up the defense, Zach. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a D2 on both sides. Offense. I mean, obviously we saw the flashes from Parker Livingston, Jack Andrews. That looked nice, but there's a lot more left to be desired. And this
Yeah.
game should have been a 55-0 blowout. Really, the score doesn't really reflect what we wanted, but yeah, I'm giving them a D letter grade.
Yep. I'm with you on that one too.
Um, all right, Zach.
All
So
right.
yeah, we covered. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I wasn't saying we.
Oh,
I think that's all. We can jump into UTEP if
yep,
you like.
yep. Let's get into this UTEP preview now. So just to preface, this game happening this Saturday. This is the second game of second home game of the series. Sorry, not of the series, of the season for Texas, and they'll be taking on the UTEP Miners. Last time they played this team, Zach, was in 2017. If you don't remember, that was the year Aaron Jones kind of ran kind of crazy on us, and that was back in the Tom Herman
Yep.
days. But yeah, this UTEP team is completely different since pretty much 2 years ago. We didn't, and obviously, I mean, we know we're from El Paso. We know a little bit more about this team than most. And they're bringing in second year head coach Scotty Walden. He is from Austin P, where he had a pretty successful career there, and yeah, pretty much brought all of his Austin P guys to UTEP. Of course, it's worth mentioning that Malachi Nelson just transferred in this offseason to UTEP. For those of you that don't know, Malachi Nelson was a 5-star quarterback. So the answer is yes. This game will be a 5-star quarterback matchup. Um, However, his career hasn't panned out as the way Most of it thought it would. He first committed to USC, was thought to be the next quarterback under Caleb Williams. Transferred to Boise State, expected to be the starter there, lost the job, and then eventually moved on over to UTEP this offseason. And yeah, things are not looking great for him so far. But yeah, I guess like it's a lot of hype for UTEP because they don't really get recruits like this.
Yep.
Let me see. But yeah, Texas is currently 41.5 point favorites. The over under is set at 51.5. And yeah, Zach, let's jump right into this preview. What do we think of UTEP?
Yeah, as you said, AJ, I think we both know a little bit more about UTEP than we would know about any other
Against our
non-power.
will. It's against our will.
Yeah, more than any other non-power force school. We know that UTEP is notorious for Tacomas during tailgates. But other than that, yeah, nothing very newsworthy to report out of UTEP these past couple of years. And as you said, the biggest news was Malachi Nelson just transferring there. And I thought that was pretty big news. At the end of the day, I was happy for them, AJ. All jokes aside on this episode, and have been happy watching them. They look more competitive than definitely than what they have these past few years. I've watched both of their games actually. In terms of other players to watch, AJ, their wide receiver, also running backs, it's kind of their Debo like player on their team is Kenny Odom. He is number 6, I believe, on their offense. You'll see him get targeted on deep balls. You'll see him running it out of the backfield. You see him on screens. Very elusive, very balanced runner. So tackling will be key when he is touching the ball. And then on defense, AJ, a point that we actually didn't talk about in San Jose State, I felt like the offensive line did take a step back, AJ, and we can get into that right now if we want to, but we need the offense to get back into the rhythm and shape that they were and form that they were in against Ohio State, because UTEP actually leads the nation with 12 sacks on the season, AJ. They just absolutely bull rushed their opponent last week. I want to say there was 6 sacks, a couple of forced fumbles there on the sacks. So yeah, it will be crucial to have some good offensive line play. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have there for UTEP on that end.
Yeah, and you know, like I kind of get the hype with this. I mean, Scotty Walden, he's expected to be a good coach, Zach. I just really haven't seen it this season. Obviously, they have the loss to Utah State, and who did they play last week?
They played UT Martin.
There we go, UT Martin, which it was a convincing win, but there's a lot of discipline that I'm not seeing on this team, which I think is like the bare minimum for a team that has a good coach. So it's hard for me to believe that Scotty Walden is the answer there. But
yeah, I will say, AJ. Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
On that point, just before we switch subjects, there is that he does seem like a coach that I would want to have as an assistant coach because of that aspect that he does. It does seem like he desires the discipline. There was a point in last week's game. I'm not sure if you were still watching at that point in time, but they had gone up about, I think, 17 points or 14 points at one point in time after a big play. And then I want to say they were kicking a field goal. They were just doing something that's very routine. The players didn't get out there on the time. He had to call timeout, and he was absolutely ripping them. So it doesn't seem like he tolerates it much, and it just seems like he's still in the process of trying to change that culture around. But high energy guy is definitely one thing we could say.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the program kind of getting rebuilt under his own terms, which I mean, it's the reason why he's there. But yeah, I mean, it's just the play isn't there, but the intention is what I'm trying to say about this UTEP team. And honestly, like one thing that I am kind of looking forward to is how dominant our defensive line looks. So UTEP's offensive line, I'm not motivated by them. I see them, and you know, they're just not the kind of unit that that isn't as like formidable as like, you know, being a threat. And once you don't have that, that's like the bare minimum for any like huge upset or any kind of turnaround for a game to happen. But yeah, I think UTEP really struggles in that manner. So Yeah, I'm expecting a huge game out of our D linemen. I'm I guess I kind of prefaces this into who I think is going to be the star of the game, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this, and I'll just mention it later. But yeah, I expect this defensive line to eat. As for the offense, I think Texas will do really well against the run, and if Arch pieces it together, which I hope isn't a huge if at this point, can really piece up this defense
Yeah.
on their secondary. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this game.
Yeah, switching to our side, as you said, where we should have strength, I definitely agree that it should be in the running department as well as in the
Mhm.
passing department. I feel like, again, this is the game where the offense gets on track and there is no setbacks here. Um, as you said, our offensive line should give Arch some time here, be able to pick them apart. Or it wasn't San Jose State, Utah State in the first game of the season was able to do so as well and move the ball on them. So I don't foresee any challenges there. Fun fact, AJ, and you mentioned this game years ago when Aaron Jones kind of ran wild. That was the first bet I ever placed in my life. And I'm not sure if you recall it, AJ. We were watching it at the apartment with Joe Wise and them as well. It was the over on this game, and it went down to like the very last drive of the game, and we hit the over.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, pretty like top 5 of like bets that I've hit in my life, to be honest. And it wasn't like a crazy lump sum of money, but it was just like we hit a bet.
yeah. That
Um,
was that was my first bet ever, actually.
yeah, so that's good memory. So like seeing this again, it's very reminiscent of that. Is that it should be a game that we're able to put up points. And another note about UTEP is they play fast-paced offense. So I do think there's going to be many more possessions that we necessarily didn't see against Utah State. I think we're going to be able to get the ball back a lot quicker, even if there isn't as many turnovers in this sense, which I'm still expecting turnovers. But if there wasn't any, the pace that UTEP plays at, it should give more opportunities to our offense as well.
Yeah, you know, Zach, completely huge fumble right there. Completely forgot that we played him in 2020. I was referencing the 2017 game as the last time
Oh,
we played him. But yeah, the COVID year. That one's gonna sting. But yeah, I am on board with UTEP running a fast paced offense. I mean, I've seen it. Kenny Odom, I think he's an electric wide receiver. He's definitely made some money for himself if he decides to transfer next season. But yeah, I I can definitely see that. All right, ZT. Oh, actually, let me just read Ben's real quick. His synopsis on the game. So what he has to say about UTEP is that their defense really flies around and throws a lot of different blitzes at you. However, they are very vulnerable against the run. As for UTEP's offense, it kind of beats itself against good teams like Texas that controls their own tempo. Last week, no, against Utah State, they had 9 3-and-outs in under 30 seconds, um, which, UTEP, in that sense, they shouldn't be getting off the field as quickly as they will. But yeah, it does help. It does hurt the way how they get their field possession, and really limits their opportunities to score. As for Malachi Nelson, he says he plays like he's trying to make it to the league and not win games, which means he's not playing to get hurt, and he's kind of a stat pattern in a way. And when he can, he won't make the, I guess, like the hard nosed runs is what he says, and
yeah.
or won't kind of take the hit for the team. He'll kind of put his interest first before the team. So I think that's
Yep.
a pretty accurate assessment.
Yep.
Yeah, any
I
thoughts?
agree. I agree with that, AJ, and that's a point that I touched on was that UTEP plays very, very fast, and that's why I thought we were going to get more possessions. So I think it's funny that he said that, and I think very spot
Yeah.
on. Uh, I was looking up at their season stats, AJ, when we're talking about Arch and like needing for improvement, and now his criticism about Malachi Nelson. Obviously, UTEP has played lower competition, right? But also the
Mhm.
expectations for Malachi Nelson have been lower than what they are for Arch. The stats are very, very similar, AJ. Let me just read them out to you
Yeah.
real quick. Malachi
Go for
Nelson
it.
has 456 yards passing on the season. He's 36 for 60. Just remember that number. 36 for 60 in terms of passing. He has 5 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. Arch Manning has 465 yards passing. He is also 36 for 60 on the season. He also has 5 touchdowns, but he has 2 interceptions. Um, So yeah, I guess I'm with you now, AJ, that we definitely need some drastic improvement out of Arch. After reading out those stats, it kind of gave me a chill down my arm that I was like, okay, maybe we are in a scarier spot than what we should be. But yeah, I just thought that was funny to read.
Yeah. It just means whoever's making these evaluations for 5-star quarterbacks maybe needs to take a step back. I don't know. There's no way you miss this bad on 2 quarterbacks, and honestly more out there. But yeah, those stats are kind of worrisome, Zach. I mean, we haven't played an FCS opponent, so I'd be a little more worried if I'm a UTEP fan. But yeah, not good at all.
Yeah, but we can, on that note, AJ, we'll get into some better news because I think we both have better news in terms of score predictions. Let's get our score predictions for the game, and I'll pass it to you first.
Yeah. So at first, I was gonna go with kind of giving UTEP a little bit benefit of the doubt. Something I didn't give San Jose State, and that's because there's some penalties on our end. There's some lack of discipline that allows the other team to score. But like I said, UTEP isn't really on that side of being disciplined yet. I do think Texas does outlast them, and I will give them a final score of 45-3. So Texas does cover. I wish we wouldn't give up a field goal to them, but yeah, that's as much as I'm giving UTEP. Really, I just can't give them the touchdown, Zach.
Yep. Okay, and I'm with you on that one, AJ. I'm not sure if you've been noticing, but I've been flipping the score prediction throughout this entire episode that we've been recording already.
I haven't seen it.
I'm at 52-6, AJ. Again, going back to 2020, I think we both confused the last time we played UTEP. I'm going back to 2020. It was an over that we hit, and it was actually because pretty much Texas covered the over on their own. I'm thinking the same thing here. We're able to hit 52, cover it on our own. But I do think they score. I'm not sure if it's a touchdown and they just don't convert because they go for 2, or if it's 2 field goals at the end of the day, some longer range field goals. But yeah, I do think they put some points up on the board. But I'm also going to take below 7 points, so 52-6, and we're covering the spread for the first time this season.
It's got to happen, right? Like,
yep.
This has to be the game where we cover the spread. All right, Zach. So you have 52-6. I have 45-3. We're not giving UTEP any touchdowns here. Let's get into our offensive and defensive player of the game. Go ahead and take us away for the offensive.
Yeah. Well, AJ, I'm taking CJ Baxter. I think, again, we're going to win the trenches on both sides of the football. I'm expecting CJ Baxter to run downhill, impose his will, and finally get a touchdown on the board. I texted this past week. I don't know if we're ever going to see a CJ Baxter touchdown after they overturned his touchdown this past week. I'm finally asking for one this week. So give me CJ Baxter.
It's gotta happen. Yeah, I'm gonna go with CJ Baxter too. And I wasn't gonna go with him at first, but after what Ben told me, and yeah, it's kind of true. Just the D line for UTEP. Man, like I said, these guys are FCS players at the core, and there is just a striking difference between FCS players and 5-star Power 4 players. So yeah, I'm gonna go with CJ Baxter to kind of tote the rock. I think this is the game that Sark instills the run game a little bit more. Hopefully unlocks Arch, like we mentioned. But yeah, I mean, I hope this is his first 100-yard game of the season. And yeah, Zach, our guy needs to find Pater.
Yep, I agree.
Pete.
Who do you got for defensive player of the game, AJ?
I know you defensive player of the game. So. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I love the D-line in this game. I think Colin Simmons gets his first sack of the season. The elephant has been addressed in the room, and that is that Colin Simmons is just trying a little bit too hard. I feel like he kind of takes a step back mentally, just plays his game, because his game at its core is what makes him a very successful player. So I think Colin Simmons gets a couple sacks on the 5-star quarterback, Nelson. So yeah, give me our boy Colin Simmons.
I like it, AJ. I have seen Malachi Nelson overthrow quite a bit of his receivers through the first 2 weeks of the season. I'm expecting a couple more of those. I'm expecting our safeties to have a nice calm, easy game and be able to be aggressive on some of those balls. So I'm going to take Michael Taft. Michael Taft to pick up an interception, deliver some big hits coming down the field, coming down towards the line. So I like Michael Taft.
Yeah, no interceptions from him yet, huh?
No, but has delivered some big hits. He delivered one last week. AJ, I love the way Michael Taft plays football. Just runs downhill the entire game.
Yeah, he's willing to risk his CTE at the expense of like a highlight, which I love. But yeah, I love it. Anyway. But I love to see these guys all get their first notable stats of the season. We've been longing for it. You know, we expected to see this since game 1 against Ohio State. So yeah, I like those picks there. And then one thing to mention for this game that Zach Trey Wisner will again not be suiting up this weekend, as well as DeAndre Moore, who is in the concussion protocol. Players expected to fill in for him are Ryan Niblett and Dalen McCutcheon, who we saw get a couple of touches this past weekend.
Yeah.
Alex January, or D lineman, is out, and Jack Endries is limited, as well as Emmett Mosley, who we still haven't heard much from him, but yeah, those two are lights. So expect to see some of our backup tight ends kind of make their way, and we'll see Matthew Caldwell hopefully in the fourth quarter covering for us.
Yeah, I mean, even in the third quarter, to be completely honest. But
yeah,
that Endries news was shocking as well, AJ. And with that, it brings up another point. Washington, correct? Is there a second string?
Yeah.
Jordan Washington.
Yeah, 5-star.
Yeah, I need a better game out of him since he is going to have more playing time. And didn't look great last week. Missed a couple blocking assignments. Did have one good catch, but I'm going to need more of that this week. So perfect opportunity for him here.
Yeah, perfect time to shine. But all right, that is our UTEP preview. Like I mentioned, Zach's got 52-6. Go ahead.
Well, recap the scores, then I have a question for you about it.
Oh, yeah. So Zach's got 52-6. I have 45-3. We both have CJ Baxter as this weekend being his breakout game. And for defensive players to look out for, we have Michael Taft and Colin Simmons. Go ahead, Zach.
AJ, over under on beers drank before you enter the stadium on Saturday. We covered the important stuff, now to cover the crucial stuff. Yeah. What is Horns 2020 looking like for tailgate season?
Yeah, so 6.5 should be an easy cover for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the entire weekend should be an easy cover for me, really.
I like it. Okay.
Cover on the over, yeah. Yeah, what about you?
I think so, AJ. I think that I'll set my line at the same one, and I think we're also gonna go over. Hoping to get this day started a little bit early. Maybe try to hit up Rainy before the tailgates even get started. Hit up the tailgates. So yeah, I think even midway through the tailgate, we're clearing that number.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Yep. It's gonna be actually, Zach. Rainy Street apparently isn't a thing anymore. It's like, yeah, it's like East 6th Street. That's where Rainy's crowd migrated to.
Okay, well, hey, that works for me too because my Airbnb is literally a block away from East 6. So, AJ, if you need a place to park and you want to hit up East 6 before the game, please let me know.
Let's get some Lucky Duck going. If you know, you know. Yeah. But man, all right. So we got the over. Zach's got the over for the game and the over for the beers. So do I. Should be an easy cover. Yeah, should be a fun weekend this weekend in Austin, Texas. I'm glad to be back, Zach. It's been a while. Been a while for me.
Yeah, AJ. It's been a while in general. Like I said, I missed last week's tailgate, so I'm absolutely feeling excited to get to the Airbnb on Friday. I'm excited to see you, Victoria, Dom, Matt. It's just a reunion of all sorts. And then, of course, getting to see UTEP just feels like home is coming a little bit to Austin as well. So. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the weekend, AJ.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right, GT. So that covers the football aspect of the show, which of course is a good majority of the show. But we do have some news outside of DKR, and that is with volleyball, soccer, and baseball, which Zach will be covering in his weekly segment, which is 40 acres and 40 seconds. Zach, I'm going to give you 40 seconds here. We got to clear it. Whenever you're ready, take a few breaths,
Yep.
get into your happy place, and whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Yep. All right. So I'm just reading it off one more time. Okay. Yeah, I think we got it, AJ.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So we're going to
Three,
start it off in
2, 1.
3, 2, 1. So our 40 acres and 40 seconds includes volleyball. Volleyball is on a 4-game win streak, claims wins against Rice as well as Stanford at the Moody Center. Beat Stanford in 5 sets, third-ranked win in a row for our Texas Longhorns. Tori Stafford and Spears combined for 32 kills. Emma Halter 2 aces and Stafford 1 ace. Stafford and Halter also 10 digs each. Next game is against Arizona State, number 9 in the nation, on Sunday, the 14th at 2 p.m. Central. As for our soccer team, we had a win against College Charleston. That was 3-1 on Sunday. 2 goals by Ava McDonald and 1 by Audrey Bryant. Lost to Baylor 1-0. And then our overall record is 2-4-1 to open. And we open up SEC play on Friday at Missouri, against Missouri, obviously. And that is the 40 acres and 40 seconds. I really ruined it at the end, AJ. I do not think I hit the time.
48 seconds this time.
Yeah, I stumbled when we hit the soccer scores. But we're getting closer.
Yeah. We're in the 40-second range, so that's nice. But yeah, Zach, volleyball just absolutely killing it. No pun intended. Another ranked opponent this weekend.
Yeah, AJ. And honestly, I know I went to 5 sets, AJ, but I'm not sure if you were watching the game on Sunday. I know it was the first weekend of NFL, but I had it on my phone for a grand majority of it. We were up the first 2 sets. We kind of gave the game back a little bit there, and it got a little testy, but I'm not crazy to say, even though it was a 5-set victory, we dominated that game as well. Like, this team is, I mean, elite, and my expectations are through the roof. I'm already thinking natty, AJ.
Yeah, they're looking good. And one thing to mention tonight, they're playing against 4th-ranked Louisville, and that game is currently going on right now.
What are we at on those scores, AJ?
I'm trying to look them up real quick.
I'm trying to pull up the ESPN also, and apologies. So next game, we do have number 9 Arizona. As we pull up these scores, we do have number 9 Arizona State. AJ, now that you just mentioned, we're also facing Louisville tonight. Have we, like, in any sport at any point in time, has there ever been a tougher schedule to open a season? As you said, we already have 3 or 4 ranked wins. We're facing number 4 tonight. Then we face number 9 next week, or on Sunday. I apologize. That's a crazy start.
Yeah, no, it's like, if we're not ranked number 1 after we play Arizona State, of course, granted that we win. What more does this committee need? That's all I got to say.
And I'm not, or update on that game.
Soccer,
AJ.
obviously a rough one.
Yeah, real quick before we jump to soccer, as an update for the Louisville game, it's actually in the 5th set right now. Louisville is up 8-6 in this 5th set. So if this game goes final while we're still recording, we'll give you all that updates. It should go final by the time we finish recording, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, huge win that Texas needs for this. Another thing that released this weekend, Zach, that is the Texas baseball schedule, or basically the SEC schedule, and there's some pretty notable opponents. So I'm just gonna go in order real quick. We have Ole Miss at home. We're playing at Auburn. We've got OU at home. Then we travel on to South Carolina. Then after that, we head on over to College Station. It's going to be a juicy series. And then we host Alabama the following weekend. After that, we are heading to Nash Vegas to take on Vanderbilt. Then we host Mississippi State at home. Dom's going to love that game. He's probably going to want to go to that. After that, we are heading on over to Knoxville, Tennessee, take on the Volunteers. That should be a very good series. And then to close out the season, we take on Missouri at home.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
It's a tough schedule, AJ. We definitely got a good majority of what you would expect to be the top ranked teams in the SEC. A couple of, I guess, what you said, like what you were saying, a couple of fun road series games that we can look forward to there, and some juicy ones, as you said, with Texas A&M, going to Nash Vegas, going to Mississippi State. So yeah, and I think I said this last year, and no disrespect to Dish Falkfield, but I do think Mississippi State has, if not the best, one of the best college baseball atmospheres in the nation. So yeah. I think that could be a very juicy series as well.
Hey, all I gotta say, Zach, these do have some bachelor party implications. They will be.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weekend in Vanderbilt or a weekend in Nashville. Perfect time for the wedding. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
What weekend is Nash Vegas? Do you still have it open?
Yeah, April 24th through the 26th. It's Victoria's birthday. That's the only tough part, but she'll understand.
I mean, it happens every year.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting, AJ. You heard it here first, folks. So yeah, that's something definitely to look forward to, AJ. You have me excited.
Yeah. Or we can also go to Knoxville. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just that's another option.
Yeah. I mean, we can kick rocks around in Knoxville, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can go on Dolly Parton's like does she have like an amusement park? I don't know.
Is that where it's at?
I don't know, dude. I know it's close to Knoxville. But yeah, not
it just blows my mind every single time we talk about another SEC school is that like how much in the middle of nowhere they are. Other than again Austin and Nash Vegas.
Yeah, I know. It's like
it's funny to me.
Nashville's the only, or playing against Vanderbilt's really the only option for like a fun weekend. So yeah, pretty exciting. Time to start planning.
Let's do it.
Alrighty then. So yeah, that is Zach's 40 seconds or 40 acres in 40 seconds. Let's head on over to the most prized possession of our podcast episode, and that is our week picks against the spread. So we are on week 3. Like I mentioned, Zach started 6-0. I'm at a rough 3-3, and I will also be mentioning Ben's picks for the first time this season. So Zach, you've got honors. You're 6-0. Give us your 3 best bets to take this weekend.
Yeah. With all that being said, AJ, I think this was the most difficult week that I've had to like choose games. I was back and forth on a lot of them. But let's go ahead and just break it down. My first pick, I'm going to take Virginia Tech -7 against Old Dominion. 7-point favorites against Old Dominion. They are at home. I do think this is overreactions to the losses that they've had against South Carolina as well as Vanderbilt's last week. In both of those games, AJ, they've started off really, really hot and then just cooled off immensely. I don't see that being the case here against Old Dominion. I see them coming out really hot. I see them finally picking up their victory, and I just don't think they let Old Dominion back in this game. So I think this line is still an overreaction to what we've seen out of them the past 2 weeks. Second pick, I have Duke money line versus Tulane. I think they're at Tulane, but the actual spread is Tulane is favored by 1.5. I'm gonna just take Duke outright here. It kind of just blows my mind, AJ. Duke has Tulane's quarterback from last year, paying him some big money, so I do think he needs to come away with the win here. But also on top of that, Duke was just an underdog by only I think 3 points last week against Illinois, who's number 11 in the nation, right? And now to only be a 1.5 point, or now to be a 1.5 point underdog to Tulane, who's unranked. I get top non-power 5 team, but at the end of the day, I think also again an over exaggeration here, and I think Duke money line should be the play. And then last play here, Memphis -3.5. Again, I think it's just an overreaction, so just a trend in all my picks. I think I'm picking lines that are overreactions to performances of the last 2 weeks. Troy obviously played Clemson really, really close in the first half. Memphis is a good team. They should be competing for a possible playoff spot now that Boise State is out of the mix. I think USF is the favorite play there at this point in time with their 2 big wins to start the season. but I do think Memphis can also be in play later on in the season, and I think they pick up a comfortable victory here against Troy as a 3.5-point favorite. So those are my 3 picks: Virginia Tech -7, Duke money line, and Memphis -3.5.
Yeah, that Duke money line is wild, Zach. I do not see how that team should not be favored.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they got curb stomped by Illinois last week, but they're still an above average team. And yeah, I like the Memphis pick. I just like American teams this year. I think they're going to be good. I mean, obviously we have USF. They're
Mhm.
looking good. So yeah, good picks. As for my side, hopefully this is a 3-0 week. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to throw like all logic out the door and just go on like line movement. I know I get all weird about stuff like that, but it's like sometimes it helps. So yeah, for this week I'm gonna take App State over Southern Miss. App State kind of have proven these past few weeks that they are a respectable team. Southern Miss, I know everyone kind of likes them a lot because obviously the head coach from Marshall transferred over. That they're looking really good. But yeah, there's a reason why App State is favored in this game by 2.5 points. I'm going to trust that. I'm also going to take Pitt -6.5 points over West Virginia in the backyard brawl. I feel like this game just always ends up in my betting slip. I don't know why. It's just always fun to bet this rivalry game early on in the season. But yeah, I'm gonna take Pitt. I'm not very inspired by West Virginia's offense, and Pitt's defense looks like it's the real thing. And like we mentioned last episode, I am a Eli Holstein believer. So yeah, I think he's gonna wheel and deal his way out of Morgantown this weekend. And last but not least, I will be taking Bama -20.5. And again, this is going into me throwing some of the logic out the window. But I mean, there's just a reason why Bama is favored by 20.5 points.
Yep.
Wisconsin, in my opinion, terrible team. This is Luke Fickle's last year. So give me the Crimson Tide to cover this game convincingly.
I like all those picks, AJ.
Yeah.
I am especially, and we talked about it last week, as you said, Eli Holstein. We are a big fan of the Holstein cow on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to pick up another victory here. And yeah, I like your picks, AJ. I think you get back on the right track. And as you said, AJ, if you guys haven't been following our picks for the first 2 games of the season, you guys should start following. We've been printing money over here. I hope I'm not jinxing it, but yeah, I think we have some solid analysis for this week as well, AJ. On top of, again, I think Texas coverage for the first time this week, and I do think the over hits on that game.
Yeah, and like of course Texas has scared me out of betting them in any capacity. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, I truly think this is the weekend that we finally break through. Real quick, Zach, I'm gonna name Ben's picks. He will be taking A&M and Notre Dame under 49.5 points. So heading into the spotlight, he will be taking Utah, the Utes -20.5 points. He's a big said he's a big is it Dampier fan?
Dampier, yeah.
Dampier, yeah. Yeah, I am too, honestly. I kinda like him.
Yeah.
And then he will be taking UTEP in Texas over 51.5. He didn't specify. He's a big UTEP homer, by the way, guys. And he didn't specify who will be covering the over by themselves. So yeah, that's encouraging for this weekend.
Yeah, I like that. I also like the Devin Dampier play, AJ. He's, like I said at the beginning of the year, I had a lot of best ball lineups, and he's definitely in a lot of them. So yeah, I like that play as well.
Yeah, he's good. But Zach, what about the matchups this weekend? We got a pretty loaded week 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, AJ, I think we did some injustice earlier in the episode because we talked about like, oh, there's Canelo and then there's UFC, and we did not talk about the college matchups. It is loaded, AJ, absolutely loaded in terms of matchups. Tennessee, Georgia.
LSU, yeah, Tennessee, Georgia, which I believe that's where College Game Day is headed, right?
I believe so. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia. We have LSU, Florida. We have Notre Dame, A&M, obviously. We have the red hot USF. Yeah, they're traveling to. Are they playing in Miami?
They're playing in Miami, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and tons of ranked. On top of that, we have the backyard brawl, which seems to be probably like the sixth favorite game to watch on this list, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a loaded slate. I like it a lot.
It's a loaded slate, AJ. There was another game that I wouldn't have mentioned. Did you mention Clemson in there?
No, I didn't, but that's another good one.
Yeah, Clemson, Georgia Tech, also another good one. Yeah, AJ, absolutely stacked week this week. Honestly, it's as you said for week 3. You always have like that week 1 week that you look forward to, and then it's like the next 2 weeks you have a game or two in there that you look forward to, and then hopefully there's like an upset watch that you can keep busy on. This week, I have no concerns that we'll be interested in all of these games.
Yeah, a lot of hate watching from our end, really.
Yep.
So getting a lot of these.
Do you have somebody that should be on upset watch this week, AJ?
Man, I mean, USF looks good. I don't know if they're good enough to beat Miami. I'd like to see them beat Miami, but I don't think it's going to happen. Clemson is on upset watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if Notre Dame is, in my opinion.
Where do you side on that Georgia and Tennessee game?
I have a slight. Are they in Knoxville?
They are in Knoxville. Yep.
Okay, I have a slight lean towards Tennessee because, like, finally they have an operating quarterback. Man, I don't see how Georgia gets through this. But I mean, at the same time, it's still Georgia. I think I'm leaning towards Tennessee, Zach.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, AJ. This is one of those games that I told you, like, I wanted to put it on my bet slip, but it's like I feel like it's a trap game that it's like everybody's downplaying Kirby Smart yet again, and it's going to be like a Georgia just stout defense and running game. That's all it's going to be. I'm down on Georgia's offense this year. They haven't looked great, and I think this is where it shows. But there's that little side of me of like, it's going to happen again. And it happens until obviously it doesn't happen, right? So I don't know. Yeah. Is this finally the time that we see them dethroned? Who knows? Funny enough, I think I'm going to be going for Tennessee, AJ. I'm not sure about you.
I'm going to be going for Tennessee too. Yeah, I mean, they just have a lot to like about them.
So yeah, I think that's my upset watch, which I guess it's not really an upset, right? But I think that's my upset watch. The other one that people should look out for, AJ, and I know you and Dom kind of just hated on me a little bit when I mentioned them earlier in the season. Arkansas against Ole Miss. Ole Miss just never seems to be able to put away a game. Arkansas, maybe a little bit better than what people were expecting. I don't know. Let's see if they're able to hang out. It is at Ole Miss, so I do think that's where the challenging factor is there. It is difficult to play in Arkansas, so that would have given them the heads up there. But yeah, let's see if that one. I'm gonna have that one on a upset watch.
Yeah, this is the perfect like Sam Pittman upset to save his job for another season, and him not winning the rest of the games this year. So yeah. I'm not too high on Ole Miss this year, Zach. So I can definitely see it. Yeah, I'd like to see Arkansas upset. Yeah. Crazy how we're already SEC play.
That's exactly what I was running. Like we're ourselves, we're 3 weeks out, right? Like because we have UTEP this week, and then it's Sam Houston State, and then a bye week.
And then a bye week, yeah.
So that's what I was wondering. Like, are they starting early, and then they're still going to do a non-conference? I think that's what the case is going to be. That next week, I think is going to be our down week of like no matchups whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's like Easter. Like it's every year, it just gets here earlier, and I think that's what SEC play is. It's just pretty soon by week 2. I mean, it's going to be Bama, Georgia.
Yeah, the game that really caught my I know we just talked about Georgia and Tennessee, but the game that caught my eye that I was like, wait, it's already SEC play was LSU and Florida. When people were talking about Florida's schedule after they dropped last week's game, which a big middle finger to Florida because that as 900-point favorites or minus 900 favorites. They were a last leg on a lot of my parlays, and well, you know how that goes. Shouldn't have even had them in it. Like they really did nothing for my parlay, and I just did it. And they added like $1, and they actually took away a lot of money. But with that being said, AJ, metaphorically, because we can't bet either. But
you're saying
when they talked about their schedule, when they talked about their schedule, I was like, wait, it's already next week. Like, as you said, it blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing it a week earlier. I mean, they may have a non-conference game squeezed in between week 4 and week 5, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
I
Huge
don't know
stuff going
either,
on.
AJ. All right. Should we do some Longhorns in the NFL before closing out, AJ?
Yeah, yeah, we had a pretty good weekend actually. Longhorns in the NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wanna break us down a little bit?
Yeah. So first off, Zach, we got Bajan scoring a 50-yard receiving touchdown.
Yep.
That was beautiful. I think he's ever in open space like that, you're not stopping him.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good, pretty cool to watch. He was one of the top running back fantasy scorers this week, so shout out to him, helping me win my week. Let's see who else we had. Oh, Jade Barron recovered a fumble
Mm-hmm.
this past weekend, and shout out to the Tennessee and Broncos game. That was there's a lot of Longhorns in that game.
A lot. Tavondre
Yeah,
Sweat in that game, AJ made
Devon-
a huge fourth down stop.
yeah, QB sneak preventer is what I call him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a big
Devondre
game
Sweat
there.
again.
Brandon Jones had a big hit as well in there.
Yeah,
Um,
Gunnar Helm had a pretty cool catch, one that was
it-
reviewable.
it-
That's how good it
I
was.
think at one point in time he was like the leading receiver of the game for like a good quarter
Yeah,
or two.
yeah,
He
he had
looks like
like
he's
20
gonna be
yards.
Cam Warren's favorite target.
I hope so. That'd be cool. I'm trying to think who else.
Adonai Mitchell had a catch on the sideline. AJ, I need him out of Indianapolis. He's such a good wide receiver, and he's just being
Yeah,
wasted. Like it,
yeah,
it frustrates me when I see him on the field. Not because I don't want to see him on the field, is because I know that he should be out there every single play, and he just seems to make a play whenever he is out there. It's frustrating to see.
yeah. He's just I don't know what it is about him or why he's not on the field, but yeah, we definitely got to see him more out there. And speaking of who we should have seen out there in that game, Zach Quinn Ewers, two was
Oh,
two was terrible.
yeah, AJ. I mean that change might be coming sooner rather than later. The only unfortunate part, AJ, is that that franchise is in turmoil, and I think even if he does get the opportunity, he's just going to be caught up in it. And holy crap,
Yeah,
AJ, Texas volleyball again showing off the Texas fight. Sorry to interrupt the
another
NFL segment,
W.
but
Let's
another W.
go.
Fought back in the fifth set. They were down 4 points at one point in time. Fought back and they win the fifth set, 16-14. Yeah, that's the definition of Texas fight. Fourth win versus ranked opponent this year. That includes number 18 Creighton, number 6 Wisconsin, number 5 Stanford, and number 4 Louisville, taking out the entire top 5. AJ.
I know. Now we just need 3 and 1,
Yep,
which
and
we'll be number 1.
yeah, we need to be number 1 at some point in time already. So absolutely
Yeah,
insane. Huge shout out to the ladies there.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
This should propel him to the number 1 spot.
I just don't see like I would need to see the number one's schedule and what they've played because I don't care what roster
Yeah,
they have or whatever. The resume speaks for itself.
yeah, yeah.
What
This
else are they
hasn't.
gonna say there?
Let's see. We're
But back
on.
to where we were at. Quinn Ewers,
Yeah,
yeah, I do think he's probably gonna get an opportunity this year. AJ Tua looked absolutely terrible. That squad looks like they are in turmoil. Changes coming fast. Who else? Oh, Devin Duvernay, AJ. He might get some. I'm not gonna over under. If you gave me an over under of 1.5 kick returns this year, I'm gonna take the over just with the new kicking rules. He's gonna have many
hey,
more
yeah,
opportunities, so I like it.
yeah. There were a couple of kick returns where I was like, "Hey, you might take it back.
Yeah.
Might take it back here." Hey, he looked good. Um, that was pretty much Cameron Dicker, perfect
Yeah.
on the field, expected.
Dicker the kicker,
But
my fantasy kicker this year, so I like that a lot.
yeah, I
Um,
had to reach to draft him this year. It sucked, but
I reached as well.
I had to get him. Yeah, yeah.
If
So
I
you
wasn't
guys,
getting Brandon Aubrey, I was getting Cameron Dicker, and yeah, I reached.
yeah, it's, he's such a good kicker.
Yeah, I mean,
But
only the only Texas kicker worth noting, honestly, at this point in time. So
yeah, no one else.
no one else, no one else. Do you think that highlight, AJ, of like the last time we ever played in College Station before a couple of years ago is gonna just surface anymore? Do you think that memory is gone now for the rest of the time?
From ESPN standard, yes.
Yeah,
From our standard, probably not.
I was gonna say like I think that's the most unfortunate part of it all. Like that, I mean, NFL career aside and everything else, I was like, he is the focal point of that highlight, and I'm like, is it even acceptable to play it anymore? I just don't know.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're not gonna end on that note, but yeah, that's just one thing that's crept in my mind.
Yeah, we are gonna end on the note that Texas volleyball is the best team in the nation, and yeah, amongst other sports on the 40 acres, besides soccer, we're looking real good.
Absolutely real good. And this weekend, AJ looking real good.
Yeah. Yeah, looking real good. Looking real good. But all right, Horns 2020 Nation, thank you all for tuning in to episode 4 of season 4. We hope y'all got something out of the San Jose State recap and got a little something, hopefully some betting wisdom for this weekend for Texas and UTEP, amongst other high profile games this weekend. Again, if you're following our bets and you live in a betting state, you have been living good. So shout out to you for that. But we hope everyone here has a great weekend. Watch some good college football. And if you're in Austin with us this weekend, we hope you enjoy the great vibes that city has to provide you. But until next week, we'll see you later, Horn 2020 Nation. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.